Oh, human.
Wow.
Well, you just got damn from the internet.
Quick drama gra, baby.
I am. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know. I just work here. I'm Sean.
I am Dan. This is episode 308 of Audio Face, your fine established podcast about morals, values, and most importantly, the music news and music culture that mostly matters. And there's a lot of music news and music culture that mostly matters this week. God damn it!
There's a lot of stuff. We have 3 records this week. We have Dopamine by Normani. We have Fear This Movement by Kamasi, Washington, and we have When Angels Cry by Jeff. Jeff being one of my music recommendations like 2-3 years ago. So don't
damn
sleep.
It, boy.
Don't fuck asleep.
Yes. Yeah, one of your I mean, hard to say that you have like a better or worse music recommendations, but definitely one of those ones that's like a how many stocks do I really have in stock type of music recommendation.
Yeah, it really is.
Where let's just say
like,
this is the NVIDIA of your music recommendations. This is paying out.
Dude, that stock is just
this is, hey, buy NVIDIA 2016. Trust me, dude, trust me.
It's just so funny because sometimes I'm like, NVIDIA? Why NVIDIA? Oh, that's right.
I'm like, this is just the gaming PC company, right? It's like, oh, the gaming PCs are really good at AI. Okay, well, that's how.
And they kind of make the best graphics card. Wow,
Yeah.
First is Bitcoin, now it's AI. What's next?
AMD, get good. So yes, we have the albums we're going to talk about. We have a kind of hallmark moment in music history to talk about.
Man.
And we have less time than ever to talk about all of these things. So we're going to do it as well as we can.
So we're or do you need to do the plugs and stuff first? Okay, bye. Damn.
Oh no.
All right.
Whoops.
It's the Dan show today.
No, I don't have my usual. I guess that's how it's going to be. Yes, that's how that's going to look. Oh my god. Yeah, that's how that's going to look. Anyways, I'm still getting used to my StreamYard and being back home and having that whole setup. If you want to hear all of the updates of things that I am doing for some dumb reason, which I really try to keep minimal, but basically a members only, portion of Syndicate 23 content and Power Report content, where I covered some stories from Power Report that I missed over the past 2 weeks of me traveling and the whole context of me traveling and what that means for the next really good next couple of months of the year, where that has to do with the presidential election that we may or may not be having this year and in the future. Please check out all that stuff on the usual channels: Dan from the Internet, Inner.net, PowerReport.world, AudioFace.show. those are the places. Hey, InfoWars is out of business, so we got to get that new traffic. But yeah, definitely. If I'm plugging right now, if you're listening to this live, awesome. If you're not, Power Report, uh, election 2024 content is in full effect. So especially for the America stuff, but there's elections all across the world that have happened, are happening, will happen during this year or during early 2025. Please check us out. We're doing great coverage of all of it. And but depending on whether you're listening right now, we may have already done our coverage of the first debate. That was wild. As you know, expect nothing on Power Report because you will get everything. The previous Power Report episode, not the most recent one, but the one before that, was literally stopped because my building had a fire alarm. It's fun all around. So yeah, it's gonna be great. We out here, and thank you for watching and your support. Sean, are you ready to go into I hope we get more mileage out of this graphic later, but are you ready to go into the next segment?
Oh Lord Jesus! All right.
Rap beef, nigga.
Punk ass
Oh, Jerry Torres, nigga, big game, nigga.
Stomp him in the nuts, I'ma stomp him in the nuts. Stomp him in the nuts, I'ma stomp him in the nuts.
Just play it 5 times.
Just
Rap beef, rap beef, rap beef, rap beef, rap beef, nigga.
instrumental.
Rap beef, nigga.
So in music news, Kendrick stop, he's already dead. Kendrick stop, he's been dead for a month. Kendrick, why you reloading? Kendrick, why you reloading? Kendrick, why you got a Gatling gun? Kendrick, no.
Kendrick, why you dancing on his grave? Kendrick, why you stomp? Damn, what do you do to make them that mad?
Yeah. So as we talked about, Kendrick Lamar announced a couple of weeks ago at the time of recording, June 23rd. Happy summer. Hot summer 2024. At this time of recording, a couple of weeks ago, Kendrick Lamar announced the Pop Out and Show 'em Juneteenth special, where he was going to have, Kendrick Lamar and friends for a victory lap, a Juneteenth show, an event for the ages, where Kendrick Lamar was basically showing off the fact that he was able to shoot Drake in Fifth Avenue and get away with it. I really don't know what better way to describe this other than a man who had already very clearly universally won a thing, dancing on the grave of the person he won the thing from, to the point where you don't need to do all that, but we're still dancing with it because this is a degenerate society we're in. This concert was, I put in the rundown, it demonstrated overkill. Some of the artists who were based in LA or also came out from LA in general included Tyler the Creator, YG. YG very notably because Drake tried to mention YG as someone who Kendrick Lamar couldn't get to unite with him, and survey says Roddy Ricch, Ty Dolla $ign, Dom Kennedy, and Steve Lacy, along with OGC, Ray Vaughn, Cuzzo's Jason Martin, Westside Boogie, Zoe Sama, DJ Mustard, who cranked out, who produced the Not Like Us track itself, came out and performed with Lacy, while Dr. Dre came on a little bit earlier in the bill to perform Still Dre and California Love. And of course, you have Kendrick Lamar bringing out some of his best tracks throughout his whole history. You had a reuniting of Absol, J-Rock, and Schoolboy Q, who used to be known as Black Hippie, who came out to perform songs such as Swimming Pools, All Right, Collard Greens, That Part, Mad City, King Kunta, etc. You had some of the best songs from Kendrick's discography itself, like King's Dead, King Kunta, Euphoria, DNA, Element, Pop Out Era, Make It Look Sexy, All Right. The song that Drake fans forget was arguably even bigger than this moment right now. So they need to step off. And yeah, like we said, Like That, Humble, and of course, Not Like Us, which was performed, depending on how you count, 4.5 to 5 times, because it was stopped during the middle of the first time after Dr. Dre noted abuser Dr. Dre came onto the stage for Kendrick Lamar's song about making fun of Drake being an abuser, and Dr. Dre whispered "I see dead people" to begin the "Not Like Us" track, and then Kendrick stopped in the beginning because everyone else was performing, they're having a good time, and by everyone else I mean the entire crowd. So Kendrick was like, okay, that's great. My energy is matched. Let me exceed that by temporarily uniting during one of the hottest summers in definitely the 2020s so far, but like one of the hottest summers in the 21st century as far as gang activity is going right now. Bringing up Black members of the Bloods, Crips, and Piru gangs in the Los Angeles, California area to all dance up and get up on stage to
dance on Drake's grave.
The song about Drake being a PDF file reader 4 times to a full stadium at the Los Angeles K Backwards N Forum filled with 18,000 people. One to which SZA showed up in disguise so that she could attend in general admission. And a lot of celebrities did this.
LeBron showed up.
LeBron was spotted. Russell Westbrook was showed up. LeBron, keep the family away. Russell Westbrook, keep the family away.
Russell Westbrook, Alfa Romeo Van Nuys showed up.
Keep the Stelios away.
It's just he literally brought all of Southern California and the West Coast and just threw them on stage and be like, hey, sometimes we might hate each other. Sometimes we might have said things, but there's one thing we can all unite on. It's fuck Drake.
We hate Drake. And just to highlight another thing about here, people noted that not only was Kendrick Lamar's outfit during the pop-out show inspired by a famous Tupac outfit, the white undershirt with the red hoodie and the blue jeans, but that's also the same get up that Drake wore in his Hotline Bling video. And you also see Kendrick do a really quick like hand wave thing, referencing the hand wave thing or like the arm wave thing that Drake does in the Hotline Bling video, which again highlights my point that Sean and all of my good friends know this about me very well, but I'm a very sick human being. Like I'm a very sick fucking person. If I am in revenge mode, I will go there. I will get there, and I will. If you say I'm gonna go low, I will meet you below hell with a Gatling gun, right? Like I am ready to go. And even this is a level of hatred that like I could possibly never aspire to be. I don't have the time to hate someone this much. If I hate you, I'm just going to like pop off real quickly and it's going to bury you and that's going to be over with to show my hand. But like, this is like, I'm researching the ways that I hate you. I have the New York Times researching like a John Oliver bit, the reasons that I hate you. I'm going to find the exact outfit down to the rare Nikes that I can prove to show that I hate you and the way that you walk and the way that you talk in your entire existence. And I just don't know. First of all, Sean and I have never been this happy.
This is incredible.
Sean, I've never been this happy doing music ever.
It's just I'm overstimulated at this point. Like it's just too much. Like
there's honestly
a literally never-ending Christmas. Like this 2024. Like I ran out of ways to type 2024 to Dan just on all this stuff that's been happening this year. That's just brilliant. I'm like, this is it. It's the final year of the podcast at this point. Like there's nothing else to top it.
There's so much stuff we can't even mention during the show. That's like, and mostly the way I'll sum it up is in like academics is on life support. Like he's posting stuff about Donald Trump. Like he's posting stuff about like. Dude was about to tear up and like walk out of his own stream when he saw all the gang and like literally everyone for Los Angeles show up for Kendrick Lamar. Mind you, did I mention Whitney and Kendrick's kids were in the stands, like in the view of the cameras. Sorry, super last thing. Kendrick is also using the weekend before that concert and the weekend after to film a Not Like Us music video in Los Angeles, hitting up some of Tam's Burgers, Compton's, like hitting up some of the classic spots of Compton right now.
Who's at the Compton courthouse? Dude, I should just fly over real quick. Just see what's up.
I'm just like, I don't
love it.
First of all, I hope he bleep. Second of all, here's what's gonna happen. Kendrick is gonna ride this to the bank because he should, and he like absolutely should. I don't know what album Kendrick's gonna come out with right now. He's definitely in a boastful mood, so I'm feeling more Damn and less Mr. Morale. Drake
Oh, for sure.
needs to come out with 444 times 3 to be able to really come back with this. I mean, Drake needs to sue the dog shit out of Kendrick Lamar to like truly come back with this. You've already lost the rap beef, but at this point, you just need to beat the allegations. So, like, unsolicited advice, you should probably sue the dog shit out of Kendrick Lamar if you didn't do these things. If you did do these things, then you should release an album. Much like a lot of people, myself included, predicts that you will do. And you should, pretend to acknowledge some of these things, mostly not acknowledge most of the other things, have yourself a gay old time, and just, pretend to be a pop star and a rap star as though you haven't been like, I can't even say ethered anymore because ethered is too small for this. Drake has been not like us. Drake hasn't been Me Too'd. He's been not like us. He's got my 8-year-old nephew and my 11-year-old niece holding the R on A minor. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And you know what?
Like, it's
Thank
just
God.
and for someone as big and as popular as Drake, the only people who are saying otherwise, right, are just they're too deep in the OVO house. They actually bought Owl merch. They actually bought stuff and all these things, right? Like they're Drake diehard fans. But if you're not a Drake diehard fan, everyone else is like, this is just dancing on his grave. Just, I mean, the amount of videos, the amount of times I've heard it on the streets, the amount of things of just people speaking about, like, it's ridiculous. I've never seen this for someone as big and as popular as Drake to have that happen is this is great. Also, he's not going to release 444. He's going to release 111, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, like it's the thing is that Drake has proven himself fundamentally incapable to meet not only just Kendrick's moment, but rap's moment. Because rap is dead if Kendrick did not just do the thing right now. If Kendrick did not just open the floodgates for people to be like, my standards for rap music are now higher than what Drake is putting out, which is, inshallah, something that has happened. But like that standard has now changed, and it's going to now be like a major time for, artists such as ones that we're going to be talking about very soon to be taking that mantle up to really show people, to pop out and show people what really good music is all about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like up until now, no one thought that, like, Drake was untouchable. He's number one. He has so many different, people respect numbers more than they respect context. And you can look at, we made this comparison with like Michael Jackson, Prince, which is the comparison that like Drake and Kendrick Lamar made back and forth with each other in the beef. But like, you can look at numbers and you can look at influence. And Michael Jackson had influence in the sense that he had numbers and he sold out audiences. But fundamentally, and I say this full chested, for a moment, remove the allegations from the table from Michael Jackson. And, if you dig deep enough, Prince, right? Prince is the artist who has stood the test of time in influencing more musicians that have come after him, as opposed to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's influenced a lot of musicians, but as far as like musicians, people who do the art of music, that is someone who has, Prince paved the way for. And people that we got a lot of artists who were like, oh yeah, Kanye West really, put me on the map. And we're seeing how well that stock is doing. I think if you invest in the Kendrick Lamar stock, if you invest in the stock of artists who came before him, then you are going to be on the you're going to be on the right track. Much the same way as like you were one of the artists like Tyler the Creator or Earl Sweatshirt, who, or who invested in MF Doom really early on.
Mm.
Bishop Nehru.
Bishop
I don't
Nehru.
even think Bishop Nehru was like, really done as well with his career as I really thought he would, unfortunately. And I really
No.
don't think it's going to go anywhere at this point. Sorry. But
Which
I think
stinks.
I think the artists who have invested really well on the really good artists like Kendrick Lamar right now, they're going to see the dividends really soon. And I hope that makes it so in the future of music, we get to enjoy people younger than us, people older than us get to enjoy the Kendrick Lamar brand of where rap music could go in the 2020s versus the Drake brand, the Kanye West brand, the pop music brand of where music can go in the 2020s, where rap music could go, especially in the 2020s. And we're just coming off the show. This is a really optimistic time, so let's see what happens.
Well, one question is, what is if you said that Drake needs to make 444 times 10? What is going to be Drake's The Story of OJ?
Drake has got to say, I got that's a great question, and here's the answer. Drake has got to admit that he's done. Like Drake 2.0, if Drake 1.0 is like Degrassi and Blackface Adidon, and then Drake 2.0 is everything from then to now, Drake has to do what Jay-Z did in 444, where he was like, I'm a cheater. I say I do this stuff in the streets. I'm really not about that. I say I do this stuff about rap. I'm really not about that. I need to just stand up as an adult and hold myself accountable and really stand the line and say, like, I need to do the things I'm actually supposed to allegedly be about. Otherwise, I'm not going to be serious. My wife, who's more successful than me, is not going to take me serious. And what should be most importantly, my kids and my legacy are not going to take me serious, right? Like, if Drake goes, I'm done being the fuck boy, I'm done doing the, fake Jamaican accent, I'm not Drake. I'm not releasing music under Drake anymore. If I release another album, it's under Aubrey Graham, and I'm gonna be rapping like Logic. I'm gonna be rapping like J. Cole. I'm gonna be rapping like West Side Gun. I'm gonna be rapping though. I'm gonna be rapping, period. And maybe I'll drop the ladies a little bit of nice, like pop songs here and there. And maybe I'll bring some of the youngins on, party popping with his nose now. I'll bring some of them on to do my singy beats and choruses, all right? But like, I am Drake. I am a father to a kid, possibly multiple. And I'm done playing around with this, child's game stuff. Because if I'm going to be a king, I'm going to act like it. And I'm going to stop acting that like the princes, the, like the underlings, whatever, the knights. I'm going to stop acting like the knights are my competition. Because I'm rapping like a knight and I'm telling people that I'm a king. And that's my issue with Drake.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, like if Drake will just too long didn't read, if Drake will just rap his age, and he will admit that like there's a reason you could say I'm one of the greatest rappers of all time, I'm now gonna actually act like it. Because there's no rapper, and he's got to admit this too, to do 444 plus the apology, he's got to admit this, that if he takes this rap stuff seriously, he is way behind his contemporaries. He is way behind Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, like even those who didn't make it fully to that part of their lives. He is way behind the rappers who make it to their maturity and start rapping about their maturity. Right? And until he gets to that point, he's going to be like Kanye West, who is like, he was good. He had that good point, but he got lost in his own sauce and he got washed out and he got like uninteresting. So oh man, too bad we're not doing unemployed audio face anymore, because that was a really good one. Okay, so overall, I can't wait for Kendrick's new album. I honestly can't wait for Drake's new album, because
Honestly,
if he proves me wrong, this is going to be one of the greatest years in music, and we may have to stop the podcast.
And if he proves us right, it's one of the best years ever.
We may have to stop the podcast. It's a win-win. It's a win-win-win. It's a win-win-win.
We eating good. That's what's happening.
Inshallah, if the Horrors announce an album this year.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Voids are supposed to release a record this year, so
The
that,
Voids
that
are. That's
and that's
fine.
what
They've
that's
released
one
hits.
step. That's one step closer to the Horrors.
No, they've released hits. They've released misses. The Horrors are in their own world.
It's true because goddamn, the 2011 record too. Jesus Christ. Anyways,
Okay, let's
move on to
go.
records. Speaking of records,
Yes. Let's go
Uh,
into our first album, shall we?
yeah, first album of the day, serving up Gary's Way Bean. We have Dopamine by Normani. 13 songs, 41 minutes long. Almost at 24 minutes long because I became dyslexic in my excitement of this year.
Happens.
Happens. Yeah. So this is her first actual full record, I believe, right?
Yeah, Normani's been featured on a lot of
A
records.
lot.
Especially as I adjust my standing desk for the wonderful feelings of summer. I feel like she's been featured on like really hit singles and things that have gone like,
A couple like Khaled,
silver,
on
gold,
Khaled,
platinum.
Sam Smith, a couple
Cal,
other.
yes.
Yeah, and it's been around for a while. I think that Khaled track was 2018 maybe or something. It was a while ago, 6-7 years ago. So she's been
Wow.
around for a while. It's interesting. Whoa, hello.
This is not how any of this is supposed to work.
The Dan is Broken tour.
There you go. No. Oh my god.
So close.
So close. There we go. It's supposed to be like that. I'm changing my standing desk, so keep talking.
Eight times a charm. Yeah, I mean, she's been around for a long time, so it's interesting that now you finally get a full release, a full LP from her this year. And it's an interesting record because I feel like there's some good parts to it. I think the beginning hits off pretty decently. I like the ending of the record too. But kind of like you have example at the beginning. I really like the opening track, Big Boy featuring Star. I thought was a pretty good opening track. You have Still All Yours, which I think are three pretty decent tracks. But the issue to me is like you get in the middle of it and there's definitely a lot of filler in this record to where I could kind of get to it where I'm like, okay, it's like example, Take My Time, the 5th track. Like I hear that and I'm like, okay, it's fine, but it's nothing spectacular, especially in 2024 with pop, where we've had some damn good records come out recently, and even some decent records from major pop artists like Ariana Grande, who we typically don't really like too much on this podcast, but we enjoyed her record this year. And in a world of that, in a world of Billie Eilish, in a world of even Dua Lipa with her stuff, and then Charlie XCX's record with Brat, like that's just unbelievable. This can almost take a back foot because which is a shame, especially for someone to have that as their first release. Just all of the filler in the middle, it just doesn't really do it for me. Oh, hello. Dana's back tour. Especially like an example, like you have in the middle, Take My Time is really where I think that Insomnia, Candy Paint, which I think is decent, but it's by the time you get there, it's like you've definitely had skip tracks and stuff where you're like, okay, it's whatever. So I think towards the end, I like Tantrums with James Blake. I think that's a pretty good track, and I like that switch up towards more of that sound. But I think it's more a statement on James Blake than on her, even. And then you have the last two, Little Secrets and the Wild Side of Cardi B, and I really like that. So I think what it's really showing me with Normani is she's great as a feature. Like she can really hold her own along with other artists, and she does well with it. But as a full LP, to me, it just felt really bland, especially in a world of pop where we've been getting so many exciting pop records. So it's like, okay, her record's fine. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. Doesn't blow your socks off at all. So to me, she's a great feature artist. Ironically, kind of like Khaled, where I think Khaled is very similar in that regard, where I don't really like his LPs. reviewed a couple on here. Like I remember, I think 2019 record. We're like, that's whatever. And even Scenic Drive a couple years ago, we're like, okay, it's fine, but he does better when he's really with other artists and stuff. If you make it by himself, it's a little bland, and that's how I feel about this record.
I partially disagree with that.
Ooh, let's hear it.
So I think I'm willing to concede a point that in this 13 song, 41.5 minute album that I think is, perfectly reasonably timed given
Yeah, the
year
time is fine. I don't
filler.
think it's long at all. I'll say that much.
And so like the time is partially how I think about filler, because filler is a conversation in my head, as you know, not necessarily based on this time is running long, this album runtime is running long, but based on this album runtime is running long, and I don't feel like it's doing much with this album. And so I think Take My Time is a moment much like Candy Paint, much like Big Boy and Grip and Tantrums, Little Secrets, Wild Side, like a lot of parts in this album, really, like more parts than they aren't, where we're getting to see an aspect of to see Normani work with, again, different producers, but work with producers who are willing to go into the dancier, clubbier, newer, more relevant aspects of R&B. So we haven't done this in a minute. I'm not going to belabor the point, but R&B is a racist genre name. Tyler, the Creator, has talked about it. A number of artists have talked about it. We've mentioned this on Audio Face time immemorial, henceforth thereto hither. We really don't like this denomination, because really R&B, when it comes to the singer-songwriters, who you would usually just refer to as singer-songwriters in country or pop music, a lot of times the R&B singer-songwriters are Black or people of color from the global South more broadly. And when you are talking about the instrumentation of what's going on there, it's usually a representation of what you're getting of pop at that time. So you could call a lot of like Michael Jackson or Prince records pop or R&B, and I think that's the point, because R&B of that time was trying to sound like, regular pop music of that time. I think R&B, as we've done an Audio Face of the late 2010s, was a reflection of the more popified electronic music sound that was very prominent throughout the 2010s, but also a more popified version of trap that was very popular throughout the 2010s. R&B, quote unquote R&B, made use of these, other genre elements to try to like make those sounds work better, just like pop music did, right? The only difference between pop music and R&B music, as other shows would categorize it in as recently as the 2010s, was every time we saw an album categorized as R&B, it was someone who was not white. And every time we saw an album categorized as pop that sounded enough like R&B, it was someone who you could consider to be as white. So all of that is the grand caveat to say that like genres are stupid, album rankings are stupid. This is Audio Face, a podcast about me accidentally zooming into my face. Hence the Audio Face. But yeah, so really fast, just to say all that, like I think because this feels like a neo pop, the genre name that we use to supersede this, because this feels like a neo pop record that doesn't lean too much on features, that has a few, but a good few, like a really strong few.
I think
it leans on some of the newer aspects of pop, especially when you're getting to Tantrums with James Blake, Grip, Candy Paint, all throughout the record, really. And because it definitely plays it safe, which I will maybe forgive it more than I should. I'll put that out there. Maybe I'm forgiving it more than I should, because it's her first project and she's been around a lot and playing it safe. And so I think she's doing that here. But no, maybe one song, two songs are filler. But at that point, if there's one song or two songs that are filler, I don't think that I'm going to call an album filler, at least in my opinion. But like, that's totally.
I just think it's really like, to me, it's top and bottom heavy, and the middle just doesn't do it for me as that. And I mean, she was part of what, I forget that fucking female pop group with Camila Cabello, her and all that back in the mid 2010s and shit. I don't remember the name of that, but so like she's
Fifth
definitely
Harmony.
done what? Fifth Harmony, there we go. completely forgot about that. And like she's done, she's done well with pop and everything, but I feel like she's stronger when she's a feature. She's stronger when she's with other people, because my favorite tracks on here, and I think the strongest and heavy hitting, the best hitting ones are, Tantrums, Wild Side, Big Boy, and those are all with features. So it kind of gets to my point where I'm like, it's not bad, but I expected a little bit more, especially for a first solo LP in that regard. So, but yeah. One of
Yeah.
the really like real disagreements we've had on Audio Face. Kind of nice.
Not like a super disagreement. I mean,
No,
like,
it's
we
not
have
that
them from,
bad, but
yeah, like we have them from time to time. I think like I'm willing to meet you halfway, and it seems like you're willing to meet me like at least a quarter of the way, which is
Yeah.
like generally how these things go. Is that like, yeah, I like her as an artist. I think the execution and what we expect from the executions are a little bit mismatched, but I think that's totally fine. That's why we do a review, and that's especially why we have an arbitrary scale. Sean, would you like to take us away on that?
yeah, arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audio Face because our review is Dan said.
Our review, ours,
ours, the people's,
the one we did.
because our rankings are stupid. This week, our arbitrary scale. This is so funny. Edmonton, the city of Edmonton, tourist attractions. Why?
Edmonton, Canada.
Well, they might do something really funny tomorrow.
Because
Please,
because
God.
hockey makes you a very strange person sometimes.
It really does. This is definitely the Alberta legislature building. Like, yeah, you go to
Legislature
Edmonton
building.
just for legislation. That's it.
Yeah. This is my Elk Island National Park. All right, because as someone who has traversed a national park in Canada before, the one time I visited, it is just a really splendid experience. It's like Central Park, but with less sounds of cars and people and hey, I'm walking here and horse shit from New York PD. And by that I mean literally they're riding horses and they don't pick up the shit that they ride around.
Dude.
Best city in the world.
All right. Second album of the day, Serving No Cares Bean. We have Fear This Movement by Kamasi, Washington. 12 songs, an hour and 26 minutes long. Dan, okay. I said this before. Anyone who makes 9-minute songs is, if their name isn't Sigaros, who could make 9-minute songs?
Kamasi, Washington, goddammit.
13.5-minute songs. This is
Kamasi,
literally longer
Washington
than
can.
Siguro songs.
Kamasi, Washington can, and here's why. Sean, continue.
Yeah.
Okay, to me, I'll explain why. This is ambitious, if perhaps over ambitious, if not ambitious enough. But this is just like really good jazz fusion, infused with rap, infused with soul, infused with R&B / neopop / infused with funk. And Kamasi Washington, someone who has like a lot of the artists like Normani, who we also talked about this week, has been someone who has worked really closely with a number of other larger artists rather in collaboration. And so this is someone who like has a the kind of musical brain that other artists come to for collaboration and intention, to make sure that like, okay, they're a part of this, they are a feature of this, they are within this sort of realm, right? It appeared on albums like Drones with Terrace Martin that we did, Run the Jewels 3, of course, that Tammy and I did in our album review a while ago. Run the Jewels bonus episode a while ago. Sorry. Terrace Martin and Velvet Portraits, and a lot of Terrace Martin work as well. I believe he's been on some of the subcredits of some like Kendrick Lamar tracks too. Like he's like much like Thundercat, who features on this record. It's just one of those like black keepers of the tradition of funk and soul and jazz who lives this modern day. And I've seen him live I think one time. I don't think more than one time, but definitely one time. And yeah, it's very much like this too. These are long, like almost jam bandy stuff version of jazz, which almost in a way like you like classical music. I'm like, I love this shit. This is great.
This is your some jazz songs?
Well, yeah, but like I love classical music the same too. So like it's not a preference, but it's more just like this is someone doing this otherwise dead genre very proudly and very loudly in a very modern way. And so I'm going to be starting with my flowers, at least from that point.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, I think there's some interesting sounds in the record, like where it's infusing funk with jazz, with spoken word and rap and other interesting sounds. Where, like, the example, Asher the First, right? With that, you have Thundercat and Taj Austin, who I have no idea who the fuck that is, on here, and like it's the first time hearing
Tej
this.
Austin and Raz Austin, who together both do the rapping portions, which are
and I really
phenomenal
like it.
in that.
I've never heard of them, but I also say I really like it because it's almost like the way they do rap. It reminds me of Rage Against the Machine in the way, fuck, I can't think of his name. How he does it in Rage Against the Machine, but in a funk jazz format. So it's very different in that regard, and I
Zach
really
De La
like it.
Rocha?
I think. Say again.
Zach De La
Yeah,
Rocha?
Zach De La Rocha. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Certified Mexican revolutionist to Zach De La Rocha. And I like that part where it's interesting sounding and stuff. Even when you get down later, you have Dream State with some flute songs, Andre 3000, on, and I thought that was really cool too. Really slow burn with that, but it's like smooth jazz in a way, but with a twist, which I like. Definitely only my biggest gripe is Road to Self Knockout, because that's 13 minutes 25 seconds, and like you
hey,
can't get
man.
away with that, dog. You like
You
that's
absolutely you we can't let him keep getting away with this, is what you mean.
I remember I was just like, okay, we're just like chilling with some. All right, it's just
I will be honest.
going,
I will
and
be
I looked,
honest.
and I'm like, there's 8 more minutes.
I will be honest. I was with audio face front of the show and ghost reviewer Tammy when we were both listening to this record, and at the risk of undermining my own argument, Tammy at 6 different times, and I'm not kidding, I really mean 6. 6 at 6 different times is like, is this the same album? Which is the politest way you could go. Next, please. So yeah, I think Road to Self KO is a beautiful record. It's amazing, and not to put her on the spot too much, but this is a record that Tammy really liked, especially, and asked me about what the name of it was twice, because she thought it was 2 different songs, but she liked both the parts. So again, Yahtzee.
Yeah, it's the same
So,
song.
yeah.
What?
I'll be real. I agree. Like, again, I think this is a masterpiece. I also am a person who understands album reviews in the year of our Lord 2024, and the way that not just album reviews as a music critic, but the way that most people consume music. And this would have been a really good opportunity for the old Foles double, like release one part in the first half of the year and the second part in the second half of the year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially because the first half has a lot of the features and the second half is good, but could also be an EP when you're looking at the time. Like,
and then that's like my biggest. I would say that's my biggest complaint of the record, not just Road to Self Knockout, is all of the features, 2 through 7, and then none of the features 8 through 12. So it's like it's almost a 2-part record. Where I thought the same thing actually. I would have really enjoyed it if it was split up, where either if you rearrange the album differently, or you split into 2 parts, or even as a keep some of it and then release some of the other things as an LP, it would be easier for consumption in that regard. But like as a record itself, it is beautiful. There's a lot here that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Asha the First, Computer Love, Dream State. I thought those were really
Computer
cool
Love,
tracks.
I definitely wanted to shout out as well. Dream State you mentioned, which like I will concede, yes, it's star-studded with Andre 3000, but it's also like some jazz songs plus some flute songs and no like lyrics really
No
distinct.
lyrics, no,
So
no
like
lyrics at all.
it's
I don't think
it's
Andre 3000 is ever going to speak again. I think that's it.
like listen, I think it's a good track as far as like musically and art wise, but I also like am not going to be going to it very much for the repeats. I think there are other tracks on here,
Oh, for sure.
especially I call attention towards Computer Love, that I will be coming back to for the repeats, especially because of the way that you have the lyricists really spit off on there. The visionary, the way you have Terrace Martin singing on there is A1. D Smoke's rapping on Get Lit, and then George Clinton's collaborations as well. Just like great stuff. I think it's similar to who's the guy who makes albums about like parts of the Midwest? Sufjan Stevens.
Sufjan Stevens. Yeah.
This is just like, I respect your game, but I just can't deal with it right now. Like, this is the epitome of I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you, but or sorry it happened. But like either way, I ain't reading all that. Which in a music sense is like I respect how much musical depth this has, but I think in 2024 you kind of have to have an understanding, for better or worse, of like how to give something to an audience. And I think your audience will appreciate this, Kamasi Washington, but they would have appreciated it more if you hit them hose with the EP a couple months afterwards, because everyone's already expecting a double record from everyone anyways. This is perfect room for that. And congratulations, you had like 8 or 9 songs that is already well over an album. So like you were good. Overall good work, but sorry to borrow your own Sean standard, but too many notes.
To tune in, it's just good of you. I mean, it's not as bad as Andre 3000 naming the song that night in Hawaii when I turned into a panther, start making these low register purring tones that I couldn't control. Shit was wild. That's still the worst thing that a musician has ever done was Andre 3000. So he's never not catching the smoke.
The things I do for a horrors record, I swear to God.
One day, one day. Jesus.
Arbitrary scale. The number
Can
of
we
the
actually
number of,
one day if they don't make a record, can we please arbitrary scale horrors records? Because
oh no, if they don't reckon record, we're going to be doing this new retirement home. Shut up, you know.
Because whoever gets Skying, which is one of my favorite alternative rock albums ever fucking made, that like they won Earth. Like
we're gonna have to go to a horrors concert and like get VIP just to have at least a 5-minute conversation.
Oh, we have to have a conversation.
We have questions.
Like we have a lot of questions, like several.
Yeah.
All right. Arbitrary scale.
Every week on this bitch.
Yeah, every week, because our reviews our review, and listen to what we said about some jazz songs.
Only.
This week are
your
tourist attractions in your Edmonton, Alberta. This is definitely North Saskatchewan River Valley. Absolutely, Saskatchewan's finest. Random river with some concrete and some trees.
This is my Royal Alberta Museum. It's 82,000 square feet, so it's a big boy. You probably can't experience it all in one day, which is why I compare it to this Kamasi Washington record. But that being said, you're going to have a lot of great stuff. You know, wherever you have oil, you have a lot of dinosaurs. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they're called fossil fuels. Look it up. Sean, what's the next album?
All right. Last album of the day, serving it up Gary's Way Bean. We got When Angels Cry by Jev. Jev is an artist that I recommended a couple years ago from The Color Gray, which came out at the very end of 2022, where that little drop, that little like EP of a record was just fucking incredible.
The Color gray spelled with an E and all in lowercase with a period at the end. Much like how this album has title tracks with, or like, you know, track titles all in uppercase with a period at the end. And yeah, this is a proper album in the sense that it's 35 minutes long almost with 13 songs. And damn it, boy. We got some range here.
Great. We definitely get some range here, which that's a great way to put it, especially compared to, well, I mean, granted, The Color Gray was short and stuff on it, and you had some really interesting sounds on that. But When Angels Cry, you get a lot of range where you get kind of like the experimentation that I really enjoyed on his first project, you get that on here, and then you also get some like box like more standardized trap. But the thing is that I like about it is if he make like example, Famous is what I'm thinking, kind of in the middle, where it's like that sounds like a typical trap rap song in a way, but he makes it he makes it short, only 2 minutes, so then he can get to Save a Spot for Me, which is definitely more like hip hop focused, more almost backpack rap focused in that. And then at the beginning of the record, you have Alice, which starts off with the Bane on that way, where you hear that and you're like, okay, yeah, I could hear this as a Jev record. But those 3 tracks are completely different. Granted,
and
spaced
like,
out great.
I mean,
And
like, yeah, he's got at least 3 flows on here. He's got I'll start with number 1, which is where I think he comes from, is that he's like a little bit of an Earl Sweatshirt meets MF Doom's character Victor Vaughn. Like, he's young, he's hungry, but he's also a backpacker. Like, he's gonna come flip you with like the weird double entendres, but he's also not trying to be corny, and like he will fuck around and jack you if it feels like it. Like that's the kind of like really interesting rap dichotomy that I feels like Earl Sweatshirt's similar, but I never really felt that he had that sort of like street cred. And then there are a number of like street rappers, maybe even 21 Savage, who I don't think fully cross over into this point of like, okay, 21 Savage is clever, but he's not consistently willing to be like corny and stupid to show how clever he is. And it's, again, not like Jev is being corny or stupid here. I just think Jev is, and calling back to one, his comfort of being kind of a tougher trap rapper who, number 2, has the knowledge of backpacking beside him. He's the triple threat in this case with number 3, because not only is he new, and not only are the number 1 and 2 things I mentioned that he has, but he's good at the R&B side of things. Like, he's good at the neo pop side of things. So when you get Call Me Back and Wipe My Tears, when you get the Feels interlude, like when you get tracks like that, you get someone who like has depth, has the ability to do storytelling, has the ability to jump into some singing and meet a singing co-artist on his track if the need be's. Like, he has the range that, frankly, we shouldn't be surprised. Like, rappers should just be able to do this. Frankly,
there's a lot that are huge artists that do not have this range.
We've put a lot. We've put a lot through the to the belt or whatever. Whatever it is. We put a lot through the conveyor belt. Thank you. We put a lot through the conveyor belt who don't have those talents, and Jev has all of those talents on essentially off an EP from many years ago and a first album that just came out now, which is at a time where I think Sean and I would have appreciated Jev's record, but at a time where Kendrick has reshifted the game in the sense that we really want to focus right now in the immediate wake of Not Like Us, Meet the Grams, Euphoria. We want to immediately focus on who is creating rap and rap music that contributes to the culture. All eyes on people like Jev, and it's Jev's perfect moment right now to execute. And I couldn't have dreamt for Jev to execute better than this. I mean, maybe if I'm nitpicking a couple places, but like, me not knowing Jev was going to release an album during the context of this time, and I don't think Jev knowing either, this is one of the better timed Hail Marys in rap music. And again, not saying Jev needed a Hail Mary, but Jev making a bet that releasing in June 2024 would be a time when this type of album would be appreciated. I think not only is this a good bet for it to be appreciated by the music nerds, I think it's a good bet too, with the right intention, with the right attention, rather, this could be appreciated by people even broader than that.
And it is, because I was very interested, since we had a week break, to see what people were saying, because I've heard about Jeff for a long time before he was like, I randomly
brought it up on music recommendations several years back.
Randomly got the track that like no one
back,
fucking heard before. Yeah, check out that. I mean, that's why I love the music recommendations part of Audio Face. I really like that, because you get artists like this, and it's cool to see him really blow up. Because when I first listened to The Color Gray, that was he had maybe like 50,000 monthly listeners or something, maybe 100 if we're
I
lucky.
remember that.
And now he's at 1 million, and people are like, "Dude, like I'm looking at a lot of people's responses to When Angels Cry, and a lot of people are really enjoying it and saying, hey, like stop sleeping on it. People are talking about the range. People are acknowledging how diverse he is, and I think that has a lot to do with his background, right? He's Canadian, but he lived in the Democratic Republic of Congo and a couple other places, so he's been like really well versed in that way. And I think you get a lot of different influences in that, and you can hear that especially in the range and whatnot of his music. And to me, what really stands out on this record, not just of him, is the production. The production on this record is fantastic,
A1.
especially in like in our state of music conversation we had earlier, where we said like, you know, rap is dead, all these things happening. Well, we might like there have been things that have been almost proving us wrong and proving us right at the same time, but this is one of those records where I'm like, this is what rap needs. This is what people need to make and strive for. Is, hey, like he just made a record that 21 should make, Metro Boomin should make, like guys that I love, right?
Oh no, Metro Boomin and Jev could co-collab together, because Metro Boomin could bring out an orchestra and Jev could bring the lyrics. 21 Savage, when he came out with his early album, that's name I forget, and I don't want to remember for the time of recording, but like when he released his album from 2020, I was like, oh no, 21 Savage is that guy. He can do this R&B and rap and like really introspective thing. Since then, I think he's been phoning it in too much, both on features and on his own projects.
You had Savage Mode 2 in 2020, which I think was his, honestly, one of his best records. And then you had the 2018 record, which is great. But from that point forward, it's been kind of disappointing. Even American Dream, which I think are decent tracks in there, it lands flat. And
100%.
then you get Jev coming out of being like, this is what 21 should do. This is what a lot of these big name artists.
This is what Travis should be doing.
Well, yep, I think Travis proved me wrong, because I'm a certified Travis hater, except for his last record. Because I think
but Travis got like really, really good at arguably his second, third, maybe fourth record. Jev is really, really good, like damn good, almost better on his first.
And I don't think the second,
I don't think the second album, Curse, got nothing on this guy right now.
No.
Like honestly,
like this is just, he blew this shit out the water. This is unbelievable. And for such a a newcomer artist, this is amazing to see. And I really, really want more and more people to listen to this. My only complaint is the goddamn all caps with the period. I will die on that hill. I have standards. I have to bring it up.
Old man Sean. Well, I feel really happy that Jev is someone that I feel like I can show to the old heads like Sean, and to the young heads like the people who actually use TikTok, and I think we'll be all good all around.
Well, I had to download TikTok, so
warms me heart. Arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audio Face. Our review is our review. Ranking systems, numbering systems, be damned. We're going to tell you exactly how we feel, because we hate ranking. And this week, because of that, it is going to be the top 10 attractions in the Edmonton Oilers' hometown of Edmonton.
This is definitely Rogers Place, baby. Like 100% Rogers Place to see your Edmonton Oilers, because that's the only goddamn thing to do in Edmonton, is to go watch an Oilers game. I wish I was there for Game 6, because that shit would have gone hard.
I agree. But as someone who's a little bit of a modern art man, a modern art aficionado, a person who enjoys the cultures,
Picasso ass.
By enjoyer of modern art, I mean future Republican voter. I'm kidding.
Fucking future NIMBY ass Dan over here.
Hey, whoa. Trained by my view? Let's think about that. No. Anyways,
we can't have that.
This is the Art Gallery of Alberta. You have international, historic, and contemporary works, over 6,000 paintings right in the heart of downtown. It's a really cool, partially Walt Disney building, partially regular apartment complex in your downtown of your least favorite liberal city, with a progressive DA who will never prosecute the criminals. It's
let cops walk free too. Who won't prosecute anyone? Like, why is there even a DA?
For once, I'm afraid of Sean's job prospects, so I want to move on to the next part of the show.
All right. Quick hits.
Quick hits.
Oh,
So let's see how quickly we can do these things given these 7 minutes that we have. Let's do some upcoming album updates. Updates. Channel Trace has a debut album. It's going to be featuring Toro y Moi, Thundercat, Tizo Touchdown. And I'm really excited to review this. And oh God, it's already out. Okay, so we're going to be doing that in a future week. I actually found that out as I was recording. So I was like, okay, well, whoopsie.
solid.
Well, yeah,
cool whoopsie
that's
there.
gonna rock.
Sorry, real little bitch too
We don't do it for the gram, we do it for Compton. So we're gonna show off for Channel Trace the next available time we're able to record the show. Given this the 4th of July holiday, and it is just pure audio face, red-blooded eagle American tradition to celebrate that. I didn't say red-blooded vultures, so we're not gonna get that arrested. I'm just going to use the phrase not next week, but I'm just going to say in the future.
In the future, we will definitely. That's number 1 on our list to review for sure.
That's within the top 3 on the bubble right now. Also, A$AP Rocky album expected late August. Look at the man of the house showing up when Rihanna's to. I'm gonna stop right there before people think I'm not kidding, because this is a weird week about people not understanding the history of me. A$AP Rocky is going to be releasing an album, hot off of the heels of being Rihanna's husband, and not much else. Yeah, A$AP Rocky is going to be doing that. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyways, Maddie Healy is a rodent man.
Dude, this is like my favorite fucking thing ever. It's so funny.
So
apparently a new. Go ahead.
I just want to say that, like, just the context of like understanding how the news works without going into too much context. You know the phrase yapping, like use the phrase like we just be yapping out here. Like that's a lot of media. It's just like whenever it's called the style page or the tech page or the feature page, we're just yapping. We're just like, I walked outside today and I saw that some of the trees started changing color. I'm gonna write about what that means about feminism. Like that's like a major part of the journalism industry, and I think that's like what a lot of people don't like about the journalism industry. But in their defense, like it's important that we have culture writers to create just like extremely wild hot takes, such as the one we're describing right now, which is the New York Times fashion style section going, who is a rodent man? Notably exemplified by actors like my boy Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, new season premiering on Hulu at the end of the month, and Sean's boy, employers please note, Sean's boy, Maddie Healy of the 1975, who has previously said things such as, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do you that bad in one clip. But yeah, basically it's this phenomenon of white men who have kind of rat-like faces who are like, taking Hollywood and the media world by storm. This also includes Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor, who are the leads in the extremely horny movie about Zendaya, Challengers, aka So How's Life Outside the Tennis?
Literally, So How's Life Outside the Tennis. I think you add Timothy Chalamet to that list too of a rodent man. So I was having this conversation with Vanessa.
Travis Barker from Blink-182, friend of the show.
I'm gonna skirt right over that one. Skirt right over that one. So
what's his
good news? Tory Lanez is catching the mouse, even incarcerated right now.
There's reports that Raina Shahzain has divorced the incarcerated rapper after 1 year of marriage. So you gotta love them. Brother. You gotta love them ride or die. It's the ones who will ride with you through the thickest and the thinnest, whether it's when you're being arrested for, the things that the things that Tory Lanez was arrested for, that people believe that Megan Thee Stallion somehow shot herself in her foot, or that her friend shot herself in the foot. All those other things that exist on the black male internet. And so, cool for him. Love that. Tory Lanez, of course, is still facing Daystar Peterson mind you, because it's the government, is still serving out detention time in the California state legal system. So
Sorry, you forgot to announce him, like if you
former noted little bitch Daystar Peterson. I'm sorry.
Thank you, because it's like if you have an OBE, a MBE, or something, like you have to say Sir Lewis Hamilton now, Sir Bradley
That's right.
Wiggins.
It's literally part of your
anyone you
title.
have to say former note a little bit. Like right now, it's still Timothy Poole.
Daystar Peterson NLB. Timothy Daniel Poole NLB.
Squared. NLB squared.
Like NLB Junior. NLB it's NLB the second, like Pope John Paul II. Like
yeah,
you're not a junior,
NLB,
you're the second.
NLB 2 eyes. That's what it is.
Literally. Throw an Esquire in that joint. Okay. Really quickly, noted Trumpster Martin Shkreli, who people will remember in the music context of being the person who, in addition to making it so my asthma medication is so unredeemably expensive, is the person who spent his money while also going to jail, the money that he used to extort all of this, medication from people that they desperately needed in order to get a rare single, like one of the time copy of the Wu-Tang Clan album. Except that it turned out that he paid $2 million for the one single release of the album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, gave it up to partially satisfy forfeiture for his 2017 conviction of defrauding hedge fund investors. And it turns out he was illegally pirating it, doing that old burn your CDs type copy of the album, and let it out for his own listeners at PleaserDAO, which is one of these, like crypto, at least to my knowledge, or at least to my, like understanding, scam, like complete actual racket companies. Tory Lanez also noted for creating Freudian slip. Martin Shkreli, the farmer bro, has created the recent DJT Donald J. Trump crypto token. And originally there were rumors that he had gotten Barron Trump involved, Donald Trump's really quiet son, who I think is like barely graduated out of high school, let alone college. So, he's not really involved in here. But it turns out Barron Trump is still safe. So that is all good. Let me go through this really quickly too. Scooter Braun has officially retired from management. Scooter Braun, this fucking guy, who's been known for working with people like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, Carly Rae Jepsen, Psy, Lil Dicky, Asher Roth, Tori Kelly, Demi Lovato, J Balvin, Quavo, Kid Laroi, Dan and Shay, Andrew Witt, Usher, Steve Angelo, Martin Garrix, David Guetta, Zach Brown, Allison Kay, Jen McDaniel, and I don't know if you've heard of this one, but Taylor Swift. Does she sound familiar to you? I don't know. AKA the entire reason that one of the major reasons that people have been rehearing Taylor Swift's entire discography over the past several years. Scooter Braun, in a business way and also in a way he treats women way, is a complete unequivocal piece of shit, and I think that's pretty clear public record. And so his response to leaving and having this part of him is basically a big fat rip bozo, and I agree with that.
I hate that guy. Fuck him.
Yes. Super deluxe quick hits.
Favorite segment though.
Yes. Sexy Red missed it by that much. Also, I'm just realizing now that my camera is a little bit too zoomed out for this shot, so let me just do that. But there you go. Missed it by that much. Sexy Red was caught at the gate at Newark Airport, which is one of the airports that I sometimes fly out of. And again, Sexy Red is the one in the red cap right here.
Damn.
And she's working that. She's working the pole in the way that, like, I'm not trying to describe as a euphemism, and more of the way that, like, this isn't a fight that she got involved in. This is an altercation in which she is winning. Like, she's unequivocally winning.
But it gets her a first class ticket to the From Dusk to Dawn Award Express.
The Audio Face Express flight from Dusk to Dawn Award. Absolutely. We don't have the mugshot yet, but once we get that cleared government in,
you're definitely getting, you know, that's going on the board.
If Dan didn't get sympathy, Sexy Red doesn't get sympathy. So you're going on the board.
You're on the board. Absolutely.
Justin Timberlake also had a similar thing. He said it's been a tough week while he was performing at the United Center in Chicago because he was arrested after being busted driving while intoxicated in New York. Le mugshot Estan Aki, or let's say Aki.
Times change, values don't.
Oh man, that's my eyes look better. Anyways, my favorite part of this entire thing, really quickly, was the BoJack Horseman moment that happened, where Justin Timberlake was like telling the officer, "Yo, this is gonna ruin my entire tour. Don't you know who I am?" And he low-key played the "Don't you know who I am" card. And this arresting officer was young enough to have never really heard of Justin Timberlake.
Dude, that's so funny. I kind of want to nominate him for another little bitch award in that way. Like, that kind of gets you there.
Like no, that. I mean, like, he was trying to look for sympathy. He wasn't trying to, like, you know, assert dominance over the guy. So that's why I'm not going to do another little bitch. But like, that is that's literally the washed up 90s celebrity star trying to flex. Like, BoJack Horseman is the story of Drake. It's the washed up 90s 2000s celebrity trying to still thug it like he's a teenager when everyone's like, dude, what's Ben Affleck doing at this college party right now? Like, this is odd. Can we talk about this? So yeah, there's that. And, you know, lastly, Travis Scott is or has been arrested in Miami for disorderly drunken conduct in public, which who among us?
Step outside.
Who among us? It's summer. Who among us? And I'm happy to report that Travis Scott has been one of the smartest people out of all of the Mugshot Award contenders and nominees, perhaps myself included, by including merch with his mugshot on it. And so now you can buy Travis Scott merch with the mugshot right on it, right there. Which
he should have put the very beginning of Utopia, where it says the situation we are in at this time, neither a good one. Like, you had a chance to put that because
on the back.
On the back, that would have gone hard. I would low-key would have bought that shit if it said that on the back. I need a cop one.
But It's Miami is pretty hard on there too.
It's Miami. All right, fair play.
And then lastly, because he got an audio face on a fun note, while he's running down the All-Star Weekend of Ball,
I'm coming in a U-Haul.
So Hinge has issued an official report gently suggesting that people stop U-hauling, which is a term for when people get into a relationship too quickly, decide that like each other or the run, and then they decide to call a U-Haul truck to move each other into their own place. Great. I've played to lonesome rooms like this before.
I've played to quiet rooms like this before. Yeah. That's
Sean, what do you think about this? I got nothing to say about this at all. What do you think?
This is great. This is amazing. This is Radio Shack height is all I'm going to say.
Tammy is wrong, Tor.
I got to hear that one next time.
Next time for sure.
On Audio Face. Oh yeah, I got a dip. Yes. This has been Audio Face. Looking for this in Audio Face. Audio Face show for all the shit. Apparently I downloaded TikTok. I legit do not know how to use it, and it's hilarious.
It's okay. Really That's great.
I really feel
it restarts. That's awesome. That's how I love it works. But yes, this has been Audio Face. Check out all the things we do at audioface.show. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Audioface.show to follow us on whatever social media platforms. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Syncit23.co, of course, helps us a lot. What does it mean to play us out? They're kicking me out the door. Oh my God, the volume is lifted. We gotta go.
Kamasi for a second.